Welcome back to our series on Bach's Orgelbüchlein. Today we're looking at another of the Christmas hymns, Lobt Gott, ihr Christen, allzugleich. This is a hymn which will be familiar to at least some of you. If you're in Germany, then the hymn is still in the hymn book and still much sung. If you're in Norway or Sweden, then you'll be familiar with the hymn with the title O tänk når en gang samles skall. But for the original German hymn, if you want a whistle-stop tour, the text bids all Christians to worship God together for giving us the gift of his Son, who came as a small child and put into a crib in order to save the world. And so all glory and honour and praise to God forevermore. The thing I really love most about this prelude is those long pedal scales with that enormous sense of determination. Bach, of course, as we've said before, uses scales when he wants to refer to movement between heaven and earth. In this particular case, the downward scale, Christ coming down to earth, and the two upward scales, Christ going back to heaven and opening the way for us humans to go to heaven as well. Of course, there's a long tradition of using scales for exactly that purpose. And one of my absolute favourites in that respect is Johann Jakob Froberger, who lived about 70 years before Bach. He wrote a lament on the death of King Ferdinand IV, and the final couple of bars of that is a long scale, 2-octave scale going upwards, and in the composer's own fair copy, which is beautifully presented, you can see that scale disappearing up into some clouds where there are angels hovering to receive the king. Rather disconcertingly though, Froberger wrote another similar piece, but this time in commemoration of the death of one of his musician colleagues who met his end falling down a flight of stairs while drunk. And that particular piece ends not with an ascending scale, but with a long descending scale, and no angels to welcome him at the bottom. Anyway, be that as it may, the piece is a delight to play because of that sense of direction of those long pedal scales. The figuration in the hands maybe is very slightly less convincing. It gets a little bit tangly in bar 8, so you'll need a bit of slow practice there to disentangle it all. And in bar 3, all of a sudden, for no apparent reason, the figuration changes and you get this offbeat pattern, which you don't find anywhere else in the piece. But nonetheless, the piece is a great piece to play and very enjoyable piece of Christmas joy. So the tempo wants to be fairly lively and upbeat, but at the same time, the harmonies are largely 2 harmonies per beat of the chorale, which reduces the tempo just a little. It doesn't want to go too fast. I think in bar 7, there's that series of rising harmonies, 7th harmonies, and if you take the tempo from there, which is quite a complicated harmonic progression, then the tempo will work in the rest of the piece. Registration, something bright and cheerful, perhaps not too thick and heavy. Ornamentation, there isn't any, and given the particular figuration, I can't really see where you would want to put any in either. So all in all, there's really no great performance issues here. It's a very straightforward piece to play. By the way, if there are any general issues which I've not dealt with, I tend to answer the same questions in each episode, but if there are any general issues which I haven't dealt with anywhere, then do write a note in the comments below and I'll see if I can address those in a future episode.